Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's live. I took a break last week from our live, but I am back. We're in our summer series, and today we are having somewhat of a transparent and I would say uncomfortable conversation. Today, as you are aware, I'm hosting a retreat, and that retreat is in November, and I'm inviting women who have had some challenges in their lives to come and learn how to rest, rejuvenate, and restore themselves. This invitation is for women who are navigating emptiness for the very first time, who may be going through grief because of loss, who may be shifting jobs, who may be recovering from relationships. And so tonight, our live is actually about relationships. And why is it that we ask ourselves, what is wrong with us, women that is, when our partner cheats? Because when a woman finds out that her partner has cheated or been unfaithful, it's really, really common for her to start blaming herself. She starts looking at herself and questioning what she didn't do right, if she wasn't beautiful enough, if she didn't take care of him enough. Like she starts to question herself, asking herself about the things that she may or may not have done that may have caused her significant other to be unfaithful. And this response, even though it's extremely painful, is deeply rooted in psychological, social, and many, many, many cultural factors. And that's what I want to talk about tonight, because understanding why this happens can really be the first step in how women can heal and reclaim their sense of worth. But let's talk first and foremost about all of the reasons why men cheat. Because as I started to prepare for tonight's live, I thought, let's get some background information and really go into the reasons why men cheat. Now, this will end up being a two-part series because we're going to talk about why men cheat. We're also going to talk about why women blame themselves. And then on Friday, we're going to be talking about things that you can do to restore yourself after you've had betrayal in your relationships. So let's talk about why men cheat, because they cheat for a variety of reasons. Some of those reasons are complex and some are multifaceted and some are very, very simple. And generally men cheat because there are some underlying emotional or situation factor that we're not aware of. As I researched this, I found it really, really interesting because even I didn't think about all of these reasons that my research uncovered. And so I want to share them with you. And as I share them, I want to be very clear that these reasons do not justify infidelity at all. But the reasons can actually help us understand the root cause of why they do what they do. And let's just dive right into it and talk about some of the common reasons why men cheat. So, reason number one that we're going to talk about today is emotional dissatisfaction. Now, women, we often say that men are not emotional beings, but they are just as emotional as we are. They're just also very logical. And so, men who feel emotionally disconnected from their partner may seek intimacy and validation elsewhere. This is a sore point for me because simply if you and someone else, you guys just don't connect, you don't gel, there's always the choice to separate. Not because you're with someone means that this person, you're stuck with this person, particularly if you're not married. If you're married, that's a different conversation. But if you're dating with someone, if you're in a relationship with someone, a committed relationship with someone, that doesn't necessarily mean that that relationship is going to work out. The reason that we date, the reason that we're involved with other people is so that we can get to know them, get to know what their values are, get to know what their beliefs are, and see how well they are aligned with ours. Okay. And there are times when, it's like oil and water. They just don't mix. And in those situations, men may find it easier to cheat and have someone to fill that missing 20, 30, or 40%, whatever amount it is, than to actually just have the conversation and say, this is not working out. Perhaps we should be friends and look for a better match. So there may be some unmet emotional needs, such as feeling desired or valued or understood, particularly when they are dating like a strong, independent woman, someone who has a strong sense of herself, someone that takes care of herself, someone that is not needy, someone that values her own space. Then that could cause some of those issues. So that was the first reason, and there are about 13. Okay. The second reason is a lack of physical intimacy. Um, Intimacy is critical for men. And if this need isn't being met, they may seek it outside of the relationship. I'm going to tell you straight up right here that I'm a believer. And as a believer, I firmly believe that the word of God is a guide for us to live our lives by. I believe that if we follow the word of God, particularly as it relates to relationships, many of us would not have experienced the heartaches that we experienced in our past. If we just take our time to get to know people and build non-sexual intimacy, and then gradually build our relationship to the place where we're into committed relationships and then marriage and then sex, many of us would avoid some of the heartaches that we have experienced over the years and have less partners, less sexual partners. But this is a discipline that's no longer taught. It's a discipline that seems taboo. It's a discipline that people say is old fashioned or that the Bible isn't real and the Bible isn't true. But I will guarantee you that if we follow the word of God, we would have less heartache, because when you meet someone, you all enthused about that person, you guys get into a premature sexual relationship. 6 months down the road, you realize that you're oil and water. That relationship breaks up. Now it's not just a surface pain that you feel, it's so much deeper because you've given the inner parts of yourself, your soul, you've given that and shared that intimately with someone else. They have a part of you that you can never actually get back. All right. So that's point number 2. Point number 3 is that sometimes men scheme because they desire validation, or it's like an ego boost. Men who have low self-esteem, or they may be, experiencing a personal crisis, may cheat as a way to feel more desired, or as a way to feed their ego that they're the cream of the crop. The attention and the admiration from someone new gives them a confidence or makes them feel powerful, even though it doesn't last, especially if they're struggling with their self-worth. And so many men have multiple women. Many men have a main woman, and then over the years have a bunch of other women to help them feel good about themselves. And that right there is an issue, because when we are needing other people to make us feel good about ourselves, there's something fundamentally wrong. There's something broken that needs to be fixed, because we should be able to really learn how to value ourselves outside of anybody else valuing us. The fourth reason men cheat is because there's the opportunity and temptation to do so. As a married woman, I can tell you that other women don't care about the fact that your husband is married. They really don't. Like, our society has changed so much. Culture has given right to so many wrongs. And so the opportunity, women just come on to married men or men that are in relationships. They may know that a man is in a committed relationship and they don't care. They're okay being the side piece. They're okay getting a couple dollars and seeing him whenever and having sex whenever. That's what culture promotes. And culture is vastly different and opposite from what the word of God promotes. And so when men are in environments where there are lots of women, infidelity could be normalized. It could even be encouraged. Their male partners may even encourage them as peer pressure to get involved in situations like that, especially if they believe that they won't get caught. So opportunity and temptation is also one of the reasons. The fifth reason is sometimes they're bored. Being in a monogamous relationship can get boring, particularly if no effort is being placed in it to spice it up, or to have excitement, or to just make sure that the relationship doesn't get boring and it's like two people who are just really, really friends. And so they may cheat because they're bored with their current relationship and are looking for something that's thrilling and new. And even though they may be bored with that relationship, they value that person and don't want to leave that relationship, but they want a thrill. The sixth reason that men cheat is because they have unresolved personal issues. Yes, not just women. Women aren't the only people with emotional challenges. I said earlier as I began my life that men are emotional creatures as well. But women show our emotions a whole lot more. So men have past traumas. They have the same parenting issues that we may have had. They have the same sort of abuse on a lesser scale than women. There may be addictions, there may be mental health struggles, and so men have personal issues that cause them to seek fulfillment and to have sexual needs fulfilled instead of really dealing with whatever their unresolved personal issue is. Instead of evolving to a higher level of themselves, sex is now used as self medication to numb their feelings and to just feel the thrill of the ejaculation. So that's a reason. Number 7 is poor communication. Now, ladies, you know we always talk about communication with men. There's the book, Men Are From Venus, Women Are From Mars, or Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus, one of those two. And it talks about how women and men relate differently, how they see things differently. And many of us have different personality styles. You know, we have people who have the anxiety personality style. We have people who are avoidance. We have people who are narcissists. And so there are so many different personality styles that exist. And a lack of effective communication in a relationship can lead to lots of misunderstanding. You may say one thing and your partner hears another thing. And instead of asking for clarity, he gets upset over what he thought you said, and as a result seeks to retaliate by going out there and having an affair. If a man also feels that he cannot express his frustration and desires or concerns, he may look to someone else to listen to him, who may be a bit more receptive to listening to his side of the story. And so communication is a big issue in relationships. It takes time to get on the same communication wavelength. It takes being humble in order to put you down and pick somebody else up and really listen to what they're saying without defense, without having to be defensive about someone saying, "Hey, you've hurt me," but instead, how did I do that? What did it make you feel like? Being more curious about why that person feels hurt versus taking a defensive standpoint and making more accusations towards that person. So poor communication is a big issue. The 8th reason is a desire for power and control. For some men, cheating is really about power. It's about control, and it's about feeling that they have control over their partner or even their own lives. They cheat as a way to assert independence or to feel dominant, which is really weak. Actually, it's not about power. It's actually weakness. And so, but for them, they feel that, they're the man, they're the big thing. Number 9 is a lack of commitment. Men who are not totally committed to the relationship cheat because they don't take the relationship seriously. They don't view it as exclusive. If there was no conversation that we are in this exclusive relationship, they may feel that there are no boundaries. And we may have the expectation that there is monogamy, but if it isn't clearly defined and there's no agreement, there may be a lack of commitment. We just have a few more of those reasons. Remember, I told you, I think it's about 13 of them as I did this research. The 10th reason that men cheat is that they are either sexually addicted, and sexual addiction is real. If you just look in our communities at simple commercials, okay, you will find that everything is sexualized in our entire world. Everything is sexualized because sex sells. So they may have sexual addictions that we are unaware of, right? This could be where they're watching porn. This could be where they are having promiscuous conversations with other people. So it's just an addiction, a pull. And like all addictions, it needs support and help because it's a mental health issue when you cannot control the urge to have sex. That's a mental health issue, because especially if it's destructive to your relationship or even to your own well-being, if there's this compulsiveness that you have to have sex, that requires support and help. The 11th reason that men cheat is because of the influence of peer pressure and social environment. Now, I'm saying men because my conversations are geared toward women, but I want you to know that some of these reasons are the very same reasons that women cheat, because not all men are cheaters and not all women are cheaters, but both genders do cheat. And so men cheat because they have external pressure from friends. Their friends may be doing it. It may be normalized in some of their social circles, and some of these groups encourage men to be unfaithful, or encourage men to have multiple relationships. They see the example set in some of these organizations that they are a part of, and they want to fit it and follow that, so they do that. So if a man is surrounded by other men who cheat, or who think that being in a monogamous relationship is restricted, he may be influenced to engage in risky behavior. Point number 12 is that men cheat because they're immature. They lack experience, especially younger men. And I don't really want to label it the younger men, because there are older men who lack maturity and experience as well. And so they may not understand how the impact of their actions might be hurting other people. They may be so selfish that they're only concerned about their pleasure, and they're not concerned about the other person in the relationship. Some men cheat because they have an addiction to the thrill. They have the thrill and the adrenaline rush that comes with the secrecy and risk and the pursuit of someone else. For them, it's just a thrill. This is more about the excitement of the chase than about the person that they're cheating with. And so I share all of this to say that these reasons may help explain why men cheat, but it's important that we all remember cheating is a choice. At the end of the day, cheating is a decision. Whenever a man decides to cheat, he is making a conscious decision to engage in that activity. Nobody is forcing him. No one has a gun to his head. Nobody is saying, if you don't do this, these are going to be the consequences. Absolutely not. He is making a choice. Or if it's a woman, she is making a choice. At the end of the day, cheating is a choice. And so there are healthier ways to address when we are dissatisfied, or when we're bored, or if we have personal issues in a relationship. There are better ways to handle that situation than being unfaithful and causing more problems, such as communication, counseling, and a commitment to personal growth, but more importantly, developing your character and having integrity. Those are key to preventing infidelity and fostering a healthy and fulfilling relationship. Now, I've given you all of those reasons why men cheat. And so, if those are the reasons why men cheat, then why do we believe that they're cheating because it's something that we didn't do, that we're not good enough? Why is it that we turn it around, we internalize it, and we make it out to be that our partner has cheated because of something that we've done? And I want to talk about that for the rest of the time that we're together live, because if cheating is a choice, why do women blame themselves? The first reason is because there's cultural and societal conditioning. This is so big, the culture that we live in. From a very young age, women are conditioned by society to believe that their worth is tied to our relationships. That's why so many women are pursuing men. They are pursuing relationships. The word of God says that a man finds a wife, which means that a woman should be busy going about the business of being her very best. She should be about personal development. She should be about focusing on her attributes and just becoming the best person that she could possibly be, and attracting someone who is aligned with her. But society places such a heavy pressure on women to believe that their worth is tied to a relationship. If women are not in relationship, they don't feel whole. And particularly romantic relationships. Listen, love is hard. Love isn't easy. Love is not the fairy tales that we see on TV. That's not what love is. Movies and books and the media often portray women as the people responsible for keeping the relationship, and portray us as responsible for its success and its failure. But a relationship is two people. And so if a relationship is two people, why is the pressure placed on women? When something goes wrong in a relationship, such as infidelity, this conditioning is something that leads women to automatically believe they've failed in some way, because culture and society has said to them that they are responsible for the success of a relationship. And that's not accurate. Whatever culture teaches, do the opposite of that. So it's cultural and societal conditioning. The second reason why women believe that they are at fault when their partners cheat is because traditional gender roles place women as caregivers and nurturers and the emotional anchors in a relationship. And so when infidelity happens, those roles could cause women to question whether they were nurturing enough, whether they were attentive enough, whether they did enough. They might believe that if they were more loving or more attractive or more supportive, their partner wouldn't have strayed. And that is so far from the truth because we just established cheating is a choice. There is nothing that you can do to stop someone from cheating if they want to cheat. And so it has nothing to do with the fact that you are the nurturer or you give the attention or that you are the loving person and all the reasons that we tend to conjure up in our minds about why we weren't enough and why we were the cause of them cheating. Sis, let me just help you drop that weight from your shoulder right now. It has nothing to do about your worthiness. Yes, you may have not given the relationship 100%, but that's a talk, that's a communication. That's where a man comes and say, hey, I'm not getting enough of this. Or, hey, I feel neglected in that way. Not making the choice to find another woman. And so please don't ever question your worth because a man has strayed. The third reason why women blame themselves in relationships where there's infidelity is because many women struggle with self-esteem issues. And even in the best of circumstances, that happens. Whenever infidelity happens, it brings up this feeling of inadequacy. And I want to be really transparent with you today because I have been on the receiving end of infidelity. And I can tell you that it is heart-wrenching and heartbreaking. And our self-worth and our self-esteem is established from we were young. From we were children, we were either nurtured to be confident, to see our value, to stand up for ourselves, or we have struggled through those lessons and have learned through experience how valuable we are. And when I was growing up, I can tell you that I was told that I would never amount to anything. I was told that no man would want me. I was told that I wasn't worthy. And because I allowed those words to get into my psyche, I actually started to attract men who would prove my unworthiness to me. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So there would be self-sabotaging in those relationships. A man would be unfaithful, and I would in turn blame me. And I'm not the only woman in the world who has done that. But it's through coaching. It's through retraining my mind. It's through when being in difficult situations, having those conversations and reminding myself of my worthiness, reminding myself that it's nothing that I can do, reminding myself that cheating is a choice and rebuilding myself, rebuilding who I am as an individual. Because thinking that if you were something else, this wouldn't have happened is the wrong way to think. So if you are a woman and you had insecurities before you were betrayed, those insecurities are even larger now, as the cheating is going to confirm what you already believe about yourself, which means that we have to work on ourselves first before we enter relationships. We have to work on ourselves. We have to be so strong in who we are. And I can tell you because I've been to the place where I've lost my sense of self. I've been to the place where I felt that I was brought down to nothing as a result of a relationship. And it took years for me to learn to rebuild myself and to understand that my worth was not attached to any individual and to understand that I am going to be okay alone or I am okay alone. And so I've navigated those experiences to the place where if relationships fall apart, it doesn't take away my sense of who I am. And so we need to really affirm who we are, get to know who we are outside of our relationships and what we bring to the table. The fourth reason that women blame themselves is because some of us are just controlling. Honestly, we want to control every situation. And so we blame ourselves as a way of trying to regain control over the situation that is chaotic. It is overwhelming and it's chaotic. And if a woman believes that her partner's infidelity is her fault, It somewhat gives her a sense of power, even though that's a bit misplaced and warped, that she could fix things by changing herself. Sis, you can't fix anything by changing you if you're not the person who is being unfaithful. If you are the faithful partner, what are you fixing? Your behavior and fixing yourself is going to do nothing for a partner who makes a decision to cheat. So the belief that, if you fix you, you can fix the relationship makes you feel like you are more in control and that your partner's actions had nothing to do with your own work. That there is an ego situation that needs to be addressed. The fifth reason that women blame themselves is because, hmm, this one this one, this is one is a little tender for me. This one is a little tender for me. But that the fifth one is a fear of rejection. Women might blame themselves because the alternative, accepting that their partner cheated for reasons that were definitely like unrelated to them, um, is just too painful. I know that sounds crazy, but we blame ourselves because we feel better blaming ourselves as being the reason, because any other reason is too painful. Acknowledging that infidelity might occur regardless of their actions can trigger deep seated fears of rejection and abandonment. If you've ever struggled with abandonment like I did as a child, as a teen, as a young adult, I struggled with abandonment issues, and trust me, that could rear its head. Whenever we feel that we're being abandoned, we may hold on to something that is even destroying us just because we don't want to be alone. We would forgive things, we would give a lie, we would tolerate poor behavior because we don't want to be abandoned. But can I tell you that that abandonment issue is a root cause that needs a repair? Because the more we are with people who are dishonoring who we are as individuals, as long as we continue to be with people who are being unfaithful, and we keep giving them more opportunities to do that to us, they lose more and more respect for us. That's just the real truth of the matter. That's what I'm talking about, Yolanda. Thank you for contributing. Right? They lose more and more respect for us, and as a result of that, they continue their behavior. One of the things that I've learned is that in the absence of consequence, there's no change. And the consequence, buddy, is sometimes they need to lose you to understand the work that you brought to the table. And you need to be able to hold on to you and understand that you are deserving. Like, ask yourself that question. What do I deserve? And what do you really believe that you deserve? Do you believe that you deserve to be in a relationship with someone who puts you in a situation that makes you feel abandoned? And because of your fear of rejection and abandonment, you hold on to them? That's unhealthy. And if they do it over and over and over again, you are destroying yourself, sister. And so the sixth reason is external pressure and opinion. Society, again, we're coming back to society. We're coming back to friendships. We're coming back and we're going to talk about family. Friends, family, and even the partner who cheated might suggest that the woman was at fault. Listen to me. Your gut, that thing inside of you, it does not lead you wrong. That gut reaction that you are having that's telling you that you need to do something, honor it. There are family members who may say things like, oh, were you paying enough attention to him? What do you mean if I was paying enough attention to him? What does that have to do with his decision to cheat? Family members may be saying, oh, maybe he wouldn't have cheated if you had cooked more or if you have done the laundry. No, sis, understand me. Your actions or lack thereof does not make a man cheat. His decision and his choices is the reason why he goes outside of the relationship. But our friends and our family members and even the unfaithful partner may apply pressure to us to make it seem like we have to be strong and maintain a relationship at all costs, and make us, just make us seem like we're going crazy and further criticize ourselves. And today I'm here today because I want you to know that you can stand up It's okay to be alone. It's okay to exist in a relationship with yourself. You are body, you are mind, you are soul. And so it's okay to learn who you are. It's okay to develop your talents and your skills. It's okay to explore the world. It's okay to really get a sense of who you are. It's okay when you're dating someone and you're not aligned for you to say, listen, this isn't what I want for my life, and be able to walk away. And it's easier to do that when you've not become sexual with that person. It is harder to disengage sexually from a relationship if you are emotionally vested as well. So if you are a sister today and you're thinking that because of your family or your friends that you have to stay in a relationship, and to thy own self be true. What would God require of you in this situation? Does God want you to be abused? Ask yourself some questions. And even if your partner is willing to rehabilitate, right? What is your partner willing to do? And if your partner is unwilling to make any changes, don't let family, don't let friend, don't let your cheating partner put any pressure on you to remain in a situation that you know is destroying you. The seventh reason that women blame themselves is because of emotional vulnerability. Because I can tell you from personal experience, and you guys know I share, and I share from my heart. And I can tell you from personal experience in relationships where um, I was cheated on. I mean, I think that I'm a nice looking young lady, I think that I'm a beautiful woman, as a matter of fact, and not from an ego standpoint. I'm just confident in the fact that I'm beautiful because I was wonderfully and creatively made. Not only am I beautiful, I am talented, I am skilled, I am educated. I'm a go-getter, I'm resilient. There are so many great qualities that I bring to the table. But I can tell you that infidelity strikes at your heart. It is the emotional vulnerability. When your partner cheats, it's not just a betrayal of trust. It's an attack on the safety, the sense of safety in a relationship. And once that sense of safety is gone and your partner is unwilling to help restore that sense of safety, you stay in emotional instability. Who wants to live with emotional instability? This breach can cause a woman to question everything about herself, every single thing. They will question every single thing about themselves and their value, because that betrayal has broken their heart and has put it's gone straight to their soul. Like a soul cut is so much deeper than just a surface cut. And when you are hurt to your soul, the repair is so much more difficult. The repair is so much more difficult. And oftentimes we turn and we ask God, God, why did you allow this to happen? And God remains silent because he's given us so many warning signs that we chose to ignore. In relationships where I was cheated on, there were many red flags. But because we are taught by society that we're better together, we're taught by society that women aren't valued unless they are in a relationship, because that's their place. The women's their worth isn't 100% unless they have their better part. No part of society places that pressure on men to go find their better half, to go find the one that will complete them. No part of society places a pressure on a man to be married by a particular time, to have babies by a particular time. All of the pressure is placed on women. And so when we fall to that pressure and we are vulnerable and we get hurt, we may turn and ask God why. When we really need to be asking ourselves that question, we need to be asking ourselves, why did I allow this to happen? Why didn't I acknowledge the red flags? And if you were to answer that question, I will tell you that it takes you back to a fear of being alone, and it takes you back to a fear of being abandoned. Those two things shackle us in places that we have no need to be. So we have to learn how to be emotionally strong, to understand that we're going to be okay with or without an individual, and that we need to be okay walking away from situations that don't honor us. Now, if you're married, this is a different conversation, because your vows require you to give your commitment a stronger chance, a stronger opportunity. That's why counseling is important. That's why watching self-development videos for married couples is important. That's why reading books are important about communication, about building intimacy. Marriage is a lot of work, and sometimes we need help, especially if we didn't have the right examples. Like, just think about the examples that you've had in marriage. And when you look at those examples, are they the right people, or do you need support? So if you are in a marriage and your spouse has been unfaithful, I want to encourage you to go to counseling. I want to encourage you to get help, get support. If your partner does not want to go to counseling, go alone. It's okay for you to go and talk about your issues, because that help is also going to eventually help your relationship. And so as a woman today, I want to let you know that that emotional connection that we crave, the desire to be wanted, the desire to be loved, that's all good. But according to the word of God, love is many things. And if we just look at the definition of love, the Bible gives us a whole definition of what love is. You know, love is patient. Love is kind. That's what the word of God said. Love does not boast. It is not arrogant. It is not rude. Love does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. Love does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but it rejoices in the truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, and endures all things. And so if you do not have love, you are nothing. And so if we were to cultivate and live biblically, the Bible gives us a guide for what love is for man and woman. It doesn't say if you are a woman, love this way. If you are a man, love that way. It gives a rule. The Bible speaks to the Proverbs 31 woman. What does she look like? What does she do? And when we talk about what the Proverbs 31 woman looks like, she's not just sitting at home idle waiting for a man to throw her out $250. No, she is a hardworking woman. She takes care of her home. She takes care of her vineyards. She takes care of her servants. She rises early. She goes to the market. She sells her wares. This is a well-rounded woman. The Bible also speaks to the fact that the man is the head of the home, and he has some responsibilities. And his first responsibility is to love you like Christ loved the church. And how does Christ love the church? Christ loves the church unconditionally. He gives the church safety, and our spouses are supposed to give us safety, health and safety, so that we can be nurtured under their guidance and their leadings. But let me not get sidetracked today. And so emotional vulnerability is another reason why women blame themselves. The eighth reason why women blame themselves, and this is the last reason, is because there is this underlying belief that if a woman was perfect, if she could meet all of her partner's needs perfectly, then her partner wouldn't have cheated. I could park here for an hour and talk to you, because when it comes to Proverbs 31 woman, or a woman who is balancing so many things, this is a woman who rises early. She prepares for her family. She gets them out the door. She goes to work. She takes care of her career, where whatever that career is very demanding of her. She comes home. She takes care of those children. She does homework. She puts them to bed. She cooks. She does all of these things. And there are times when sis is going to be tired, and she is not going to be interested in giving the sugar up tonight because she is tired. And the dude should be able to recognize that this woman has been working hard, but not just recognize that he should be able to control his sexual urges and understand that tonight might not be the night, but if I allow my wife to rest and recuperate, tomorrow is another day. As a matter of fact, in the middle of the night might be the opportunity, or the next morning may be the opportunity. And so when it comes to that perfection, there is no perfection. No relationship is perfect. You are not going to get 100% of what you want and need. And this is women and men. And so whether you're giving 80% or 100%, it may not be all that your partner needs. There is no perfection. And the myth that there is perfection is toxic, and it is an unattainable goal that women are conditioned to chase and achieve. Many women believe that if they had just done something different, if they had just looked nicer, if they had just cooked better meals, if they had just taken the time and ignored their own needs to take care of his needs, then he wouldn't have cheated. And I'm here today to tell you, sis, that it's not your fault. Let me make that very clear to you. It is not your fault. If you understand all of the reasons, I gave you 8 reasons why women believe that their partner's infidelity is their fault. If you just take the time to think about those reasons and see if any of them resonate with you, dispel the lie for yourself. Inspect the lie that you are telling yourself and give it the truth. Because at the end of the day, cheating is a choice that is made by the cheater, that is often rooted in their own issues, in their own insecurities, or their own unmet need. And the person who is a narcissist and needs to cheat to make you feel small is the issue, not you, sis. You are not the issue. It is essential that we understand that we cannot control another person's action. And it took me a long time to come into that. And I am settled in that place now where I understand that men are going to do what they're going to do. And I don't just want to say cheat man. I want to say that cheaters are going to do whatever it is that they want to do. The responsibility for infidelity lies squarely with the person who made the choice to cheat. There's no other way around it. Stop blaming yourself. It's not your fault. But what I will encourage you to do is to learn to heal. Heal with self-compassion, because that's what I've had to do. I've had to give myself compassion and understanding. I've had to coach myself. I've had to relearn certain things and remind myself of certain things. And one of the things that I've had to learn is to reject the blame that doesn't belong with me. It's not my fault. Women deserve to know that they are enough, just the way they are. And so if you're listening to my live tonight, I want to apologize to you for every single incident of infidelity that you've experienced. He may not have said sorry, but today I want to say sorry that you have had to go through all of those situations, because you are enough just the way you are. Your worth is not defined by someone else. Your worth is not defined by a man, by your children, by your career. You were born worthy. You were chosen. God chose me. I want you to say that, because you are here not by happenstance. You are here because God chose you. Jeremiah 29:11 says, from you were in the womb, God had a plan for you. The word of God says, before you were even conceived, God knew you. That's how valuable you are. God knew you. He intimately knows you. You are worthy. You are enough. You are deserving of good things, regardless of the experiences that you may have had in your life. Experiences that may have taught you that you're not worthy. People who may have said to you that you'll never amount to anything, or you're not deserving, or your worth is attached to something else. I want to encourage you to throw those thoughts out of your head and understand that you are a child of the Most High King. And by virtue of being a child of the Most High King, you are worthy, sis. You don't need nothing else but God to be worthy. And so as I close my live today, I want to ask you to affirm yourself on a consistent basis. And on Friday, we are going to be talking about how women can recover when they find out their partner has cheated. It's not by putting your head in the sand and burying your head down in the ground. That's not how we recover. There are certain steps that we have to take so that we can learn to live again, to love again, to thrive again. And I'm going to be talking about 13 ways that women can heal once they have been a victim of infidelity. And Stephanie, I see you saying that your ex cheated on you. He was an abusive husband, and you still blame yourself. You felt hurt, abused, and then he turned around and he cheated on you. And it broke you in some way, by the way. And it's not just you, sis. It's happened to so many women. So many women turn it around on them. But I want to encourage women today to think deeply about the fact that cheating is a choice. And regardless of how bad the state of your relationship is, the cheater makes a decision to, instead of healing the relationship, instead of doing the things that are necessary to build a relationship, instead of going into the Word of God and understanding what God requires of each individual and living that, that person decided to cheat and to destroy you. And it's you're worthy, Stephanie, and you are deserving of a love that honors you. Every woman is deserving of a love that honors and cherishes her, and every man is deserving of a respectful woman. And so join me on Friday as we talk about the ways that women can heal after they've gone through infidelity. One of the other things infidelity does is it silences women. It makes us so ashamed that we don't share our stories, we don't learn we don't share our lessons, we don't grab the fruit. That's what it is. Like that's fruit that we use. Like we think about fruit in the perspective of it's success, or it's money, or it's fruit could also be a lesson that we can do something with. And so I want to give you those ways. So be sure to join me on Friday as we talk about the ways that women can heal from cheating. And if you have not already gone over to my website and taken a look at the Thrive Retreat, I'm going to go ahead and put the link in our live for you so that you can take a look at what the retreat is all about to determine if this is something that is a good fit for you. The retreat is November 7th to the 10th, and it is a journey of healing, empowerment, and renewal. There are powerful coaches like Dr. Gandhi Notes Thompson, who is going to be talking all about soul care. Sandy Edgehill is going to be talking about loving yourself through the tough times. And Patrice Lockhart is going to be giving us 911 wellness tips, because women, we put ourselves down. We will give the best nutritious meals to our family and sit in the corner and eat noodles. So Patrice is going to be giving us that 911 wellness conversation. And this retreat is designed to help you restore balance, find inner peace, and reignite passion for your life. November 7th to the 10th in Orlando, Florida. Click the link for more details. And if you want to jump on a call to find out if this retreat is something that's a good fit for you, just inbox me and we'll go ahead and set that up. Thank you so much for joining my live today. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate your comments. I appreciate your engagement. And I look forward to seeing you on Friday. Take care, guys, and we'll be talking soon. Bye.